Welcome into the Dad Verb Podcast, where we chat about parenting from the lens of a dad. In this episode, we're going to be covering off on our experiences and tips when it comes to traveling with kids, with a family. Today, I am joined by Ben Brown and Andrew Saunders. My name is Andrew as well. My name is literally Andrew too. So we are a little bit behind on the uploads, guys, but it's for a good reason. I've been traveling, kind of prepping for this one episode. Went traveling, took the family out to Utah, and then I got a respiratory virus, which I'm still battling a little bit. So if you hear me coughing throughout this episode, I deeply apologize. But let's kick it off to Ben real quick and just catch up with him. Ben, what's going on, man? How you been?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we all got together. Yeah, Andrew's got the same respiratory virus that I think I'm probably coming down with now. So
yeah,
I think this is a perfect yeah, I know, right? I think this is probably like a perfect episode too, because I've also been traveling with the family. My son just turned 3 this week, so I've officially
happy birthday.
Yeah, been a dad for 3 years. The kiddo's 3 years old. Took a little family trip to Atlanta, man.
I'm a bad friend. I knew it was his birthday. I didn't send a text. I didn't say happy birthday. I asked on Saturday, hey, can we record a podcast? Or I asked on Friday, and he's like, oh, my son's birthday's on Sunday, and I just didn't respond.
I mean, if we're gonna jump on that bandwagon, you came to Utah and you didn't even say hi. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there.
That's true. Man. That's true. This is true. I didn't even mention it. Yeah. It was very stressful. So the time that I would have had was none. But
I'm gonna let it go.
Let
it go.
Oh my gosh.
We'll let it go. It's okay.
Where are you at in Utah again, Andrew?
Oh, I'm in Salt Lake City. Downtown Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Yep.
We visited just south of there near Lehigh, Utah. Yeah. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. We like Utah. Culture is different. Utah culture is different. I always forget about how
different than Texas.
Yeah,
very different than Texas. Oh yeah,
it's different than the rest of the United States.
We'll talk about that in a future episode. Maybe we'll grace it. But Utah is I don't know how to express it with words. It's a very different experience. It's just culturally it's different. I don't know if that's if it's rooted in the whole Mormon thing, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
They have a unique cultural take on the world.
That's a good way of putting it short. But we cut you off, Ben. So all right, so you had a birthday. You celebrated?
Yeah, I had a birthday. Did a little traveling. We took a little road trip as a family down to Atlanta. A couple hour trip, about 4 hours from where we live. Spent some time at the Georgia Aquarium. Did the World of Coke. Did all kinds of stuff around the Atlanta area on Friday and Saturday. And then drove back, and right before we had left, our son had begged us for a birthday party. So we had planned this birthday party, and originally it was going to be Saturday. A bunch of people were out of town. They weren't going to be able to show up. So we had 10 or 15 people that maybe were going to be there, and all adults. Well, when we pushed it to Sunday, that 15 people turned into 40. We threw a full-blown birthday party for little man, but all his friends were there. All his cousins were there. He had a great time. He came up and told us how happy he was at the end of it. So definitely all worth it. But man,
that's stressful.
I am beat.
I bet you
that
are.
Weekend driving back and forth, the birthday party, the hosting, and now if you can hear the slight raggedness in my voice, I think I'm starting to get sick. So I'm sitting here with my green tea and honey and lemon and being an old man in my chair and podcasting a little bit.
Dude, I'm not good in big groups. I don't like that sounds like a nightmare.
I got to man the grill a bunch, so I mostly just stayed outside.
That's my place.
That's where the throat's coming in. It's all the smoke you just inhaled for 12 hours, right? It's
I'm sure.
Yep. Andrew, what you been up to, man?
My mother's in town, so we've been getting a lot of household projects done. She likes to be helpful, and so we got grass going in the backyard, and we fixed the back gate, and working on potty training, the 18-month-old, so that's fun.
Wait, at 18 months, you're already doing the potty training?
She's walking, and she understands you got dirty butts, so We're doing potty training.
Good on you,
awesome.
man.
So the thing behind that is I apparently potty trained myself at 11 months. Like, Dad brought home the potty,
That is the most Andrew
walked up
sentence.
to it, and I sat down and was like, done. I got this. So, and I have asked repeatedly, okay, my mother and father swear to God, 11 months, I could walk and potty train myself. So
man.
I have a deadline that I have already surpassed with the oldest one for potty training these children that,
man. She's
we got to
behind.
push. This whole like 4-year-old potty training thing can't be a thing in Andrew's life if he did it himself, right? So I don't know how much truth there is to the legend. I am only the recipient of the legend. I have no memory, but I'm willing to accept it as my own and move forward.
Hey, man. Oh, God. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm trying a new light setup. I don't know how I don't like it. I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna I don't know. Vote on the colors, guys. I don't know what's going on.
You're not enjoying the like juicy fruit thing you got going on?
No,
back
the
there?
juicy couture. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't know. When I was in 3rd grade, these were like every time that we would just like have like a coloring assignment or whatever, it would be these 3 colors. It'd be green, blue, purple. That was like my color scheme. So
Nice.
this is like a throwback 3rd grade. You know what I miss, Andrew? I mean, from Ben. I miss your corner lamp. You had like this blue corner lamp. Is that going to make a comeback?
It's where is it?
Okay.
There it is.
There he is.
So it's
There
here
he is.
on this side.
There it is. There it is.
I'm just trying to figure out. It was like directly behind my head, so I just had this big line of light sitting over my shoulder that I was trying to figure out. So
Art
I
directing.
think I'm going to adjust this because I'm in a new setup too. So I've now got like a podcast corner.
Yep.
So in my office, I have like my desk and stuff behind the camera and like all my other, sort of talking head set up. And then I got rid of some big furniture in here and decided to stick a chair in this corner. So we're going to see how it goes. I like it so far. It's comfortable for the conversation. But I think we got to do something with the lighting and stuff back here because it's just a little plain Jane.
We might have to do like a behind the scenes. Where do you actually have these conversations? Because if I flip this camera around, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, that guy's insane.
I fell off for 1 second. And did I glitch out in the middle of recording? Did I look normal?
You froze, but that was about it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You were just leaning. It was like, I'm getting a drink.
Okay. I'm so sorry
There he is.
for the listeners.
RIP to everybody's car speakers.
Yeah.
I am so sorry to the listeners for
Best ASMR episode ever.
Oh my gosh, my coughing is just unbelievable right now. Well, let's get to it, guys. Let's get to the meat of this and this traveling. We all have done some traveling recently. I've done a bit of air travel. Ben just did like you mentioned, a road trip down to Atlanta, was it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then and Andrew also, you did a road trip too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did a 12-hour jaunt up to Oregon.
That's crazy.
4th of July week.
See, there you go. So that's
12 hours there and back, and then
that's a long one. That's a long one.
We do.
So
we do 16-hour road trips about 3 times a year, give or take. So
that's well, we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna open up on what the strategies are to make it as stress-free as possible, as enjoyable for parents, for dads, as well as the kids. So let's I guess Andrew, you want to kick it off, man? So are you talking about road trips? And Ben, if you got something too, you guys have the road trip experience probably more than me.
So I mean, I live in Utah, right? So going anywhere is about a minimum 1-hour trip.
Yeah.
So my kids are kind of used to being in their car seats for about an hour, 90 minutes is like a standard. We're getting in the car, we're going somewhere. The longest they do well is about 3.5 hours. I have a buddy who lives in Nevada, and we can make it there, change the butts, do whatever we need to do, and it's not a problem. So that's my biggest thing is I try and stage them in like 2-hour increments. So when we went up to Washington, I stopped every 2 hours or about every 250-ish miles to get gas and let everybody out. But my big thing is I drive at night. Like if it's not going to be a day trip, like if I'm not going and coming back in the same day, I drive 5 p.m. to morning because 1, the kids are asleep. 2, the roads have less traffic. And 3, I can stop as I need to along the way to do gas, food, snacks, right? The downside is it is uncomfortable to sleep with 2 car seats behind you. Just going to throw that out there so everybody's aware. You don't get to recline. You're kind of like, how do I up? It's like sleeping in an airplane that's a little more comfortable. So
you make one interesting point about stopping every 2 hours. If you follow any like child passenger safety technicians or CPSTs, or anyone kind of in like the car seat safety world, there's kind of like this rule that I don't know if you guys have heard of, but it's like this 2-hour rule where it's like kids shouldn't be in a car seat for more than 2 hours at a time. And that's like kind of the general, optimal parenting rule, right? The realistic like ability to do that, it's kind of more difficult, right? Because like you're shopping, you're doing things, so we don't skew on the side of parents who like shame others who are just like, oh, you don't do that, you're a terrible parent. No. But the reasoning for that, there's a variety of things. One of them is like positional asphyxiation, where if they're in that position for too long, specifically with like infant car seats, like kind of any baby that's like 12 months or younger, if they're in it for too long, that can pose like kind of a breathing risk, I guess you can say. There's like a spinal development component to that. So the general recommendation is like on a car trip, is to stop every 2 hours, get the baby out, let them stretch, let them move, and then get them back in the seat, take like half-hour breaks. Now, like realistically, it's so hard to accomplish that because like, you're trying to get somewhere as quickly as possible, right?
I mean,
but I feel like that's good practice just for like keeping your own sanity, especially if you're traveling during the day and the kids are awake. Yeah. I mean, like Andrew said, my kids are exactly the same way. When we got to Atlanta, like right around that 4-hour mark is about as much as they can handle being in the car, even with a 2-hour stop. Yeah. Just being in the car for that amount of time, especially with a 3-year-old now, like he just needs to move. So at that 2-hour stop, we'll usually try to find like a truck stop, a big rest area with like a lot of grass, and just I usually bring like a small football or a baseball or something that I can like throw around with him, so we can get out and just for like maybe 20-30 minutes we use the bathroom, we get some snacks, get some drinks or whatever, and then we just run as much as we can for like 10 or 15 minutes just to tire him out a little bit, and then get him back in the car and hopefully make it to our destination before there's an absolute meltdown.
Yeah. See, and we're the same way. We're huge road trippers. Like before we had kids, it was not uncommon for me to be like, okay, we're getting in a car, and we didn't stop till we ran out of gas, right? That was a 6-hour chunk. And now I realize, but like, and my wife was like, it's odd because when he stops and has dinner. And I'm like, yes, we stop. We go to a restaurant. We get up. We have a meal. Like it's an hour and a half, right? Yeah. In between our 6-hour jaunts. But now it's like we're better at 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and a half, because I'm getting gas. The kids are getting changed, right? Like I've noticed that for our 2 kids, their bladders cannot do more than a couple hours in the chair. Right. Without a wet diaper, a dirty diaper, just fidgeting, just needing to like get up and move. I mean, even the infant, right? We drove 12 hours with a 3-month-old, 2-month-old. Yeah. And she was just turning 3 months, and she just needed, if she wasn't asleep, she needed that wiggle space, and it worked out really well for her to just, okay, get up, get you changed, get you wiggled, get you fed. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've got other things like what do I feed, and right, how do we take care of traveling? But I'm assuming we'll get there. Yeah, as we
on that note about potties. So we did. I remember us and another family that we're really close with. We all did a 12-hour drive to Florida a couple of years back, and our kids were potty trained at that time, and we had a van. And with boys, like, they had to go in like the most inopportune times. And luckily it was easy for us because we just had water bottles, and we just on the go, just like go pee, it was fine. With our other friends, it was a little bit more difficult because they had a daughter, where you can't just go in the bottle. Right. So they had like a potty ready to go in the back of their SUV. With the sedan, I'm not sure how it would work, but to keep it going without any stoppages, they basically had her unbuckle and she'd go to the back. I guess this is completely unsafe. But yeah, and then she would go to the back, and then like mom would help guide her and pee into like a backup potty in the car, and then go back to her seat, buckle her up, and just, and we wouldn't stop. But it's, and so that's kind of how they went about it. I don't know if that's the right way, the wrong way, but, that's just something to consider. And one thing that you mentioned, it's true. Like, what a road trip for us, before kids, it's different, right? And I think that's one hard part about, the like kind of parenting in general is calibrating how you used to operate for what it is nowadays, because, it's not so much our time. We have to kind of be on our child's time or our children's time. Right. And road trips, what they used to be, we could just go for 12 hours straight and we'll just have shifts and figure it out. That's just not how it is anymore. So you do have to account for, your kids and potty breaks
driving. And all that. That's an excellent dream.
And for the record, when we did our road trips, it was almost 100% me.
My wife and I are both from New York originally, and so when we moved to the Carolinas, I mean, it's a 13, 14-hour drive back home, and we would do that, at least a few times a year because we still had family up there, and that was a normal thing. Like, you do 6 or 7 hours till you needed gas, stop for a little bit of food, and then do the rest of your 6 or 7 hours on the way. And so now, like we said, I mean, we're basically stopping every 2 hours or so. It changes the way you plan your routes too. Yeah. So like when we were coming back from Atlanta, we look at the route and we say kind of what's halfway in between, because we know it's a 4-hour trip. We know we're going to have to stop at 2 hours, let the kids out, let them run around. Luckily, like Greenville, South Carolina is basically right in the middle. Beautiful city, kind of in the foothills, like Western South Carolina, Western North Carolina, not far from Asheville. Great walkable town. And so, okay, perfect. We stop, we park, we walk around, we, get the kids some popcorn, like have dinner, spend a couple hours there, and then we can pop back in the truck. Everybody falls asleep. And now I've got, 2 to 2.5 hours to drive straight home without, really any distractions, any issues, anything like that.
I think, we'll continue on this line of road trips. I think we can dabble in the air travel as well. Yeah. I would say that I've already made 2 full videos of that on YouTube. It's also in the course for people who've already bought the course as a full like module on that, just because like it's an important part of like life, like traveling with kids, specifically air travel and kind of the strategy there. I think we'll graze it, but like in case you are interested in like better detail and breakdowns, if you go on the Dad Verb YouTube channel, there's already like 2 full videos on that already. But the car road trip, it's a fun topic because it's not something that I've broached at all. But I want to talk about like gear. Are there any specific things that you took along, whether that's entertainment or sound machines or just anything that like kind of helped accomplish the ultimate mission of having an enjoyable trip with your family?
I'll go.
Yeah,
the first road trip we ever took with our kids, I made the mistake of not traveling with extra cushions for the car seat or any kind of protection for the car seat, right? And as soon as we had a blowout, it was a problem, because now I had a smelly car seat that I had to put a kid back in, and we were 10 hours away from wherever we were going. And so first off, those plastic liners, those dollar plastic tablecloth covers that you can get at every grocery store on the planet, they are easy to rip and they make great covers to keep stuff from going in. So if you have an emergency, blue shop towels and those things take care of almost anything. You can get them at any grocery store. That's my first, oops, we had a thing. But now we have this emergency rubber. It's rubberized flannel. And I gave Andrew the links. You can buy it at Home Depot. You can get it at Joann's Fabric. We have about an 18-inch square of this stuff. and it's designed as an absorbent layer for nursing room beds. So like for retirement homes and things like that where people have incontinence issues, they do market it for kids' beds as absorbent. But 18-inch square underneath the kid, if she has a blowout, all I have to do is take it into the bathroom. I rinse it. I carry like 4 of them in the car, right? Swap them in and out. Then I don't have to carry extra cushions. I don't have to carry extra, like, I don't have to worry about washing stuff, right? It's, you take it in, you rinse it. I've rinsed it in many a truck stop bathrooms. And then it just dries out in the back of the car as we keep going, right? It's at this point, if we're going for more than an hour, she's got that underneath her so that I don't have to worry about having stinky cushions effectively, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it's so simple. It's cheap. I think you can get like a 4x8 one for $18-19 at Home Depot. Like, and it cuts with a pair of scissors.
That's awesome.
That one is the thing that I'm like, I'm never leaving home without. This stuff it's amazing.
Nice, man.
The only other thing we really, really worry about is, where do you change your child when you get to that truck stop that you do not trust the bathroom?
Oh, the back of our trunk.
Yeah. Right. But when when you're going on an 18 road trip and it's full of stuff, right? So that was one of our, we had to figure out where that was. And it turns out that if you get the right protective stuff, the passenger seat and driver's seat are just smooth enough. You can change a diaper in there pretty easily.
Dude, we've changed diapers everywhere. Okay, go ahead, Ben.
This is where I will advocate that I think, again, take this with a grain of salt. I live in the South. A full-size pickup is one of the greatest family vehicles ever invented. The cab is huge. It's effectively a luxury SUV inside.
Yeah.
Everybody's comfortable. But the thing that I didn't realize until we had a kid, and I didn't get a truck until after I had a kid, is at my height, I'm 5'10", the tailgate, when it's down, is exactly changing table height.
Oh, it's
and it's bed lined, which means I can just if it gets dirty, I can hose it off. And even if the bed is full of stuff, I can still put the tailgate down, lay my kid on it. And I'll tell you like a quick little story. So my son is also potty training, so he's almost fully potty trained now. So he knows when to tell us that he needs to go to the bathroom. So we get, I don't know, probably half an hour to an hour outside of Atlanta. Dad, I got to pee. Okay. So we pull over, go to the gas station. He pees. We get back in the car, maybe 30 minutes down the road. And he goes, Dad, I have to poop. I'm like, how bad is it? He's like, I have to poop. And I was like, okay. So we get off the highway. We find a truck stop. I back into a space. I'll have to find the brand of it, but we have this little travel potty that has like these flip out wings, right? So it flips out. You can like tuck what basically looks like a dog doo-doo bag into it. So it's like a little plastic biodegradable bag.
Nice.
And I have this picture on my phone because I thought this was hilarious because, we're going through this heat wave. It's like 90 something degrees outside. He's sitting on the tailgate of my truck on this little potty, pants around his ankles, and he tells me that he's hot. So I managed to get the stroller fan out because it was close to the tailgate. I turned the stroller fan on. He still says he's hot. So I found an umbrella that I kept under the seat. So now he's sitting on the back of the truck with his fan going. He's got an umbrella over the top of him, and he's just doing his business on the tailgate of the truck.
Dude,
and I was so proud of him, but I was like,
really doesn't find this because this is totally one of those you might be
the most
redneck.
like hillbilly thing. My kid's just like pooping on the back of my truck.
Oh man!
But I was really proud of that moment of like, I felt like he had everything he needed.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, buddy, I'll set a timer. Like, you tell me when you're done, and we'll be good to go. And everything was good.
It's the epitome of Dad solved the problem.
Yeah, literally, dude. I don't know if I would be. Maybe it's because my kids are older. Like if Henry, because he's like 6 now. If he was like doing the same thing, I'd just like, I'm hot. I'm like, just rip it and go. We gotta go, man.
Because I knew he was gonna be there for a while. He takes a minute, so he had an umbrella. He had a fan. He was happy.
Yo, good
I was
on
happy.
You, man.
It was good. Relax.
That's
like
awesome. This is an opportunity to say, listen, Ford, if you ever just want to send us all F-150s and then we'll just give you a little shout out for 4 seconds, totally worth it. and then we
100% worth it.
And then
I mean, technically, I'm already a Ford family. I have an F-150, I have a Bronco Sport, and I have a Fusion.
So I'm not a car person. I still drive I'm a simple Civic, but I really like Broncos. I really want a Bronco one day.
Tell you
I
what,
think that's my thing.
I spent 3 years looking for the perfect SUV.
Yeah.
And I wanted 4-wheel drive, and the wife wanted a sunroof.
Yeah.
And it's almost impossible to find those two things in what I'm going to call a luxury style vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
And when I say luxury, I mean, right, I had leather seats, I had seat heaters, I had the auto cruise control, right?
Andrew's bougie, guys.
I'm a little bougie, okay?
We know this.
I know what I want, okay?
Yeah.
Same thing in my truck. It's so bougie.
So I either had to go get myself a really nice truck, which I already owned a truck, so I didn't feel like I needed two. And the truck I own is my grandfather's, and it was a gift when he died. So it's like one of those.
Oh yeah,
I don't want to replace his truck with a big fancy truck.
Mm-hmm.
So my choices were a Tesla, a Nissan something, and then they released the Bronco Sport. And it was 4-wheel drive, moonroof, luxury package. And I'm like, sold. Give me one.
There it is.
And I found one used in 2021, 2022, right before the kid was born for a reasonable price. And I'm like, done. Mine.
See,
and I love it. I won't go back. It's the best SUV I've ever driven. And I've had a Jeep Cherokee. I've had lots of stuff.
Ben, you drive. So is the Ford your main family vehicle?
No, I had a Chevrolet. So I had a Chevy Silverado 1500, Trail Boss, the
Nice.
6.2 and the lift and all that stuff. I had been looking for the same vehicle. Some stuff happened, and I ended up leaving that lease and getting into now. I actually just got last week a GMC AT4. So it's in this bronze color, and it's the bougiest truck I've ever driven. I mean, it has a heads up display and a 15-inch infotainment system, heated and cooled seats, heated back seats.
Yeah.
It has a sound system in the tailgate. It has the multi-pro tailgate, the Carbon Pro bed.
See,
all the things.
Being able to flex a car has just never been. I've owned 2 cars in my life, and one was a dinky little Ford when I was graduating high school, and then a Honda Civic. That's it.
There's nothing wrong with the Honda Civic.
No,
I drove an Accord for years because they're great.
It's the most.
I had a Civic
stolen
SI
vehicle
that I loved.
Oh, did you?
I had a Civic SI right after college that I absolutely loved because before that I had a sunset orange 2000 Chevy Cavalier 4-door. And then before
Sunset
that,
orange.
I had an all black 2-door Chevy Cavalier that the air conditioning didn't work. It was, just brutal to drive that thing around. But it was my first car.
Yeah,
that's
how it's got to be. Honestly, guys, Henry's first car is gonna be the Civic. I'm just saying, he's not getting anything fancy.
Assuming it's still running.
Civic.
That car died because I hit a puddle. I hit a puddle that was too big, and it splashed up into the engine bay, and apparently something had chewed the wiring harness. The entire dashboard lit up, and it shut off at 55 miles an hour. And I was 19, and it just turned off.
So I'm big on doing the simple auto repairs. So I had my Accord and I did the alternator, and I closed the hood, but I didn't close the second latch on the hood.
Whoa.
And I hit about 55 going down the street, and wham, head in the face.
Oh no!
And I was like, oh god, what do I do? And the rest of the life of that car had bat wings on the hood, where it had bent up these little flares on the corner. It was amazing. The car was awesome. Yeah. College cars, man. Cars.
That's how it would be. All right, so we talked about some good pieces of gear when it comes to maybe some liners to help with the blowouts and stuff like that.
360 car seat.
Yeah.
Okay, you talking about rotating car seats?
Seat.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, I
have a
got
rotating
my hands,
360. Amazing.
Dude, we just got a baby. I'm going to review this on YouTube soon. A baby jogger, city turn, as well as a maxi cozy, Emmy 360.
Yeah, I think that's what I have.
Dude, those are absolute game changers. You have to have rotating car seats. You have to. Like, we went through 2 kids without them because they're fairly like new-ish thing to the market that's like really starting to pick up steam now. Ben, I mean, when we went to ABC, you saw them. You saw them. Do you have them?
Everybody was rotating. I've got some stuff coming from Cybex, I think, in September. And one of them is going to be their the Cloud Aton
Swivel.
The Aton Swivel. Yeah. So the Aton Swivel, I think, is on the way. So we're going to test that one out because I'm super excited for that because our daughter is still going to be in infant seats for a while. And then we haven't tested any of the rotating toddler seats. But yeah, so that one I'm a little wary of only because of the amount of space they take up. So I would love to compare it to, like, we have a rear-facing convertible toddler seat, which is huge. It's a Maxicosi Priya 85. The non-recalled one.
I was gonna say, like, dude, that got recalled. You need to like
it's the non-recalled one.
Okay.
I think it was the Priya. The Priya 3-in-1. That's what it was. Not
the Priya 85 got recalled.
The Priya 85 got recalled. The Priya 3-in-1 was not. So we have the non-recalled Priya.
Yeah. You know what? Well, so rotating convertible car seats, they're not at like they're comparable size. Like they're not. It's not that bad. When rear facing is the biggest culprit here, right? Because that really like protrudes out,
leaning back.
It's not that bad. Like it doesn't feel much different.
I have that Emma 360, and we absolutely love it. And do you know what sold it for me? Because I looked at all the 360 ones.
What's up?
All the cushions come off.
Oh yeah,
the whole thing is machine washable. You can take it out, pull it out. They all come off and they're machine washable. Whereas not every one of them can you take all the cushions and padding off.
Some of them some of them you can take off. Others you have to, and others it's like just spot clean. I'm like, how am I going to spot clean vomit and diarrhea?
Right.
Like I can't.
And a lot of times it's the headrest that doesn't come off. It's that one that's fixed, and then it's like all the body ones come off, but the one around the head where they might throw up, they get something in their hair, it gets all over the material just from their sweat. Like they're impossible to get off and without destroying the seat essentially.
Yeah, baby jogger. I don't. Well, you know what? I need to double check. I think Maxi Cozy it comes off.
No, it does.
No, it does. It does. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So,
the only complaint I have about mine is it's got these cool little twist-on cup holders. You can add them and remove them.
Yeah.
But they're in the perfect spot where you want to grab to rotate the thing. And so I end up ripping those cup holders off of that chair every time. But it makes up for it because it takes about 5 minutes to put that thing in and out of a car.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's latch. They have this cool tensioning system you can use with the seatbelt in the car. Like, I can take the whole car seat out in under 5 minutes and have my adult car back. I can't say enough good things about that thing.
Yeah, I would say, I would gander that a majority of our listeners are probably more like they've got like infants still, right? So those who are kind of like in the early stages with an infant car seat, or they're kind of toward the end of their car seat of their infant car seat stage, and they need to elevate up to a convertible. I haven't even touched on the Dad Verb channel yet, but I will. Like, consider a rotating car seat. Those things are really fantastic. I mean, there are some good tried and true convertible options. Graco Extend-A-Fit, just fantastic budget friendly option you get on Amazon. It's the highest selling and highest rated car seat off of Amazon, and it's really good. I mean, we have it in my little Honda, but these rotating seats, man, they're fantastic. They're fantastic.
And the Emma's good for 7 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, you can do newborn in it.
Technically, from newborn up,
if you
got
want
to use the newborn inserts and all that.
Yeah. But it comes out of the box set up for a newborn.
Yeah, that's how my baby jogger was too. So, yeah, man,
that's awesome.
So so we chatted about some gear that we really enjoyed. And that was a fun little experience that you shared with the poop situation, Ben.
The tailgate poops.
Are there any other? So what else? Are there any things that kind of stick out to you?
Food,
entertainment. Oh, okay. Let's chat food.
And actually, before we move off of that, there's actually 2 pieces of gear that we always take with us.
Tell me.
On road trips and flights.
Okay.
sleeping in, well, actually 3 now. Sleeping in new environments is always tough. And so the biggest things that we like to carry, we have the Guava family Lotus travel crib.
Yep.
Which is
my favorite.
Except for I think the 4 moms travel crib, I think is the easiest to set up and take down. Super simple, super lightweight.
Super fast.
It is carry-on size, so you can put it in the overhead compartment of a plane. We've flown with it several times, and it's been great. Every hotel, every road trip, that comes with us. The second thing is a slumber pod, and we started doing this after our last trip to Disney.
Yep.
The slumber pod, I will say, kind of a pain to set up because you need a lot of space to set it up. Yeah, it's an actual tent.
Yeah.
But once you get the fan in it and get the monitor set up in it, we pop that right over the Guava Lotus, and it creates an absolutely dark and very sound resistant environment, especially if you have kids that are like light sleepers, or if you just want to have your kids in the hotel room and be able to walk around with the lights on or have a conversation and not wake them up.
Yeah, the slumber pod is really cool. It's
super cool.
It's like it truly is like a blackout tent that goes over travel cribs, and they're really fantastic. Mimicking a sleep environment is really, because what you want to try to do is build a consistent environment, and that's like, using the same sound machines and all that stuff. Right. If you don't have the budget for a slumber pod, though, just a simple hack that you can always do when you get to your destination, whether it's grandma's house or hotel or whatever, and there's windows, you can just buy trash bags, like black trash bags, and just like some duct tape for super cheap, and just duct tape temporarily the windows and just create a blackout environment yourself. So that's another good simple hack that you can try when you get to the destination.
We travel with the 4 moms, and it's definitely not carry-on size.
No,
Cool. I love when we're going overnight, that 4 moms,
the 4 moms
not going
big.
in the area.
Yeah,
it's big.
The Sena Air is big. There's some.
It's amazing.
That's the thing I really like about the Guava family. It's a good travels, and Baby Bjorn makes another one too. Those are good like travel size, lightweight travel cribs.
So for our toddler, we actually transitioned to so when she left her crib, when we had our second kid, she left her crib, the crib went to the child, and we got her a toddler bed. But we got her a folding traveling toddler bed. And so it's the entire thing is foam, and then it's got it's basically got a case, and it's entirely machine washable. And then you fold it in half, and it's got just enough room on the inside for like a month's worth of diapers. I mean, if you just stacked it up.
Oh wow!
What's
So
it called?
I'll put a link. That's what I'm looking up the link right now because I forgot to.
I'm intrigued. And
it's really nice.
I mentioned a sound machine. I've chatted about the same sound machine for a long time. It's called like the Rom Yoga Sleep. It's like this little hockey puck looking thing. It's like $25. Dude, the thing is so good. I would suggest that. Maybe not for the car trip per se, but just in general, just sleep. That thing is fantastic. And then just really quick, we talked about like, hey, if you don't have a changing spot for, and your trunk is full and you don't trust the bathroom or whatever, like a lot of diaper bags just come with a changing pad. Just kneel down on the floor and just change them on the floor. It is, I mean, I've changed babies everywhere, from the seats, the floor of a car.
I've done it on the sidewalk. Let's be fair,
dude.
I have done it on the sidewalk
with no pad, even just like on the like grass. It's all you figure it out.
So the toddler lay flat toddler seats, great for changes. Just pop out your stroller, lay them flat, change them in that. You're good to go.
There you go, man. There you go.
So it's called the Millard Folding Floor Sleeper Cot and Fitted Sheet for kids travel, and it's washable. And it's like a little suitcase, and it's her bed. That's what she sleeps in every night. And so when we go on trips, we go to hotels, we go to grandma's, she gets the exact same bed she always sleeps in. And I've stuffed this thing with her teddy bear, all her clothes, her blanket. It all just kind of folds up, and it takes up a little bit more space than like a standard luggage. Yeah. A standard piece of luggage.
Yeah.
It's got a handle. It's got Velcro. Like This
you're
thing
watching
is
on
amazing.
YouTube, I've got it up. I'll have it up on the screen. It's definitely a cool thing for, I'd say, toddlers, older kids for sure. I not for babies, but definitely
No.
for toddlers. It's an intriguing thing that I'd never really seen before.
It's cool
Yeah,
setup.
it's really nice. We use it everywhere, and it fits a standard fitted sheet. That's the other thing. It fits the standard crib fitted sheets that you already have. So we didn't have to buy a whole nother set of sheets.
How did you guys go about? Oh, Ben, I'm sorry. Did you want to say something before I ask my next question?
No, I will say that is one of the drawbacks with the Guava family Lotus.
Mm-hmm.
You do need specific sheets for it because there's a buckle system that latches down the mattress to make it sleep safe.
Yeah, that's true.
So there has to be these like little slots in the corners of the sheet so that the buckle can go through and then through the crib material and then out to where it snaps on the other side.
You're right. Yeah, you do have to buy their
only
proprietary
downside
sheets.
is you do need their own proprietary sheets.
That's true. And then there's always just good old classic pack and play, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's cheap. Let's talk about entertainment. Do you guys just just sing songs and or do you guys have like coloring books? Like, how did you guys go about entertaining your kids throughout trips? Especially like longer format ones. Andrew, Ben, I'll start with you. How was your trip to Atlanta? Like, how did you guys go about entertainment?
So we do a couple of things. My wife found these. My kid loves stickers. I think all kids pretty much love stickers, especially around the toddler age. So there's a couple things that we use. One is she found these reusable sticker pads that have effectively like vinyl stickers that he can stick over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then one of the gifts he got for his birthday was like a Monsters Inc. themed. It's hard to explain. It's not really a sticker pad, but there's essentially on the pad you have the different Monsters Inc. characters. And then there's these different like outfit pieces you can put on them, like sunglasses and jackets and all that stuff. And so while he has his pad, he can make them look however he wants. So that was super fun for him to do in the back seat. We've also given these things as gifts. There's these they're watch battery powered LCD coloring pads. So it's just a little black LCD screen.
Yeah.
It comes with a little stylus, and he can just like color on it, draw whatever picture he wants.
Those are
fantastic. Hit a little button on the bottom, and it clears the entire thing out.
Yeah.
I think they're like $15.
Yeah.
And the batteries last forever. We have one in each car, one in the house. We've given a bunch of them away as gifts. And it's one of those things that like we try to kind of only break out during road trips, and he loves it. It's such a simple thing, and it's limited by his imagination, but he thinks it's like one of the greatest things in the world. And it's not an iPad. He doesn't have to watch a movie or get car sick. He can just sit there and draw.
That's awesome. Like, so even, and this is just general travel, not just car trips, but like I think that works great on airplanes as well because we've used the same thing. Another thing that's really cool, it's called monkey string. It's like these waxy strands of string. And because like kids really enjoy like playing with Play-Doh and like molding it and creating like little things, except it doesn't have like the mess of Play-Doh because there's like a lot going on, right? It's just like these little strands of string that you can just kind of twist and mold and create like little figures and dinosaurs and people and whatever and towers. But I'd say there's like less going on. There's like less logistics than Play-Doh. And that's a really good thing to travel with as well, especially for airplanes. So that's everything that we've talked about. I'm going to try to just gather all the links and put it into into something. But that's a really fun thing as well. In addition to just like a little drawing tablet, I think those are just simple Amazon buys. Andrew, what about you, man?
So, I mean, 3-month-old doesn't do much in the car seat except sleep.
Yeah, there's that. That's a simple thing. Just give them the back of their eyelids.
The 18-month-old finally started staying awake during the car trips on this last one, and so she was kind of like participating. And right now, she is fascinated by just all the stuff she can finally see out the window. So she's enjoying like watching cars, watching semis, watching street signs, right? We do a lot of those indestructible books
Mhm.
So she likes to pretend like she's reading and flipping the books open. And, but other than that, she is fairly self-contained at this point. I mean, she spends a lot of time napping right, for road trip. She doesn't have the energy to be up past 8 or 9 p.m. Right. Again, I try and do most of these things at night, so she's asleep.
Yep.
And so if she's not eating her snacks or drinking her juice, she's sleeping or watching the trucks go by. And then we did a lot of babbling, for lack of a better term. Just, hey, what do you see? Blah, 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 right? She'd go off and, oh, that's interesting. What's next? And she'd just keep going, right?
Yeah.
So again, she's younger, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're talking 18 months old. She's not engaging with the world in terms of toys and stylists and coloring and that kind of thing at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what the next one is.
You'll be there soon enough. Soon enough. And then you'll be at the stage where you just load up a Fire tablet with a bunch of Bluey episodes and just be like, you're fine.
Yeah.
So then there's
Here's
that
your
too.
headphones, so Dad doesn't have to listen.
Literally, that was me on a flight to Utah.
We got our son headphones for his birthday, so he can play games on the iPad while we drive.
So,
go ahead.
Well, so my wife doesn't like it if I put headphones on while I'm driving, because then she feels like I'm just ignoring her.
You're also just ignoring like the road.
I understand. Okay. I get that, but I can't I like audiobooks when I drive, and I can't put an audiobook on the radio because it will put her to sleep. And then she feels annoyed because I have intentionally put her to sleep.
Y'all got so.
Oh yeah. Don't do it. So,
oh man.
One of those things I take with me on every road trip, open comm aftershock earbuds. They are bone induction earbuds. They sit in front of your ear. So I can listen to my audiobooks. She can still talk to me and I can interact with her, but nobody else has to listen to them. And I still get road noises. I still get all the other events are going on. So
the
that's
only thing that I heard was Andrew confirming that he is bougie as hell.
Look, all right, fine, be that way.
Oh man, yo, that's funny.
I road trip a lot. I'm used to like
you got
audiobook.
your system down, man.
Me and Tom Clancy have a great audiobook road trip plan. Okay.
Besties, you and Tom.
Yeah.
So
just like this.
The last kind of like little gear thing that I would suggest is there's some fun audio toys for the older kids out there. If you don't, if you really want to avoid the screens and stuff like that, there's the Tony's, a Tony box, and then a smaller version of that is the Yodo Mini. These are just audio toys that you can either insert these cards or like use these little Tonys to activate, a range of stories and songs and just retellings of movies like Disney movies and all that. So it's a fun hack to just fun engaging toy as well. I think the Yoda Mini is like 100. Tony's a little bit more expensive. Where they really get you though are the stories, the little add-ons,
the little $15 minifig.
It's literally 15.
I've got 20 of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that I think that's a really, really cool thing. Again, everything that we talked about, we'll link everything in the show notes. We'll have everything on the bottom of the YouTube's video. I think we covered a majority of it. We didn't really hit on the air travel, but again, I've done 2 videos on this. You guys can watch that. If you have any questions, let me know. I think. I mean,
food and snacks are the only thing we really missed.
And that's where I was going to kind of circle back to before wrapping up. Ben, did you want to cover off on anything before we move on?
No. I think we pretty much hit everything. I would say the only other things that I really try to keep, I'm trying to think of like stuff that I keep that I wish I had. I mean, trash bags is always one of them. I keep like a full roll of trash bags, extra clothes, all that stuff. If you don't have an emergency bin in your car for like extra clothes, extra food, garbage bags, a roll of paper towels, whatever, stuff that you're going to need if your car, your kid goes boom in your back seat. Those are all good things to have. And those were not necessarily things I kept in the vehicle before I had kids. So just little stuff like that.
We talked about it in the food episode, but I actually keep one of those anti-choker things in every car.
Yeah.
The dechoker.
the-
That's cool.
I forget what they're called, but the choker plunger thing.
You know, that's actually low key a really good thing to have, because like there are plenty of times where you just like reach back and give your kid like food to eat, you know, and they're just munching on goldfish or whatever, but like you don't know, like anything can happen, especially when they're rear facing and you can't see them. Like a soft mirror is actually really helpful, so you actually keep an eye on the baby.
So this isn't road trip stuff, but I actually have wireless cameras on each of the head.
Oh, you
rests.
got those? Okay.
And then I have the wireless screen up in the front of me. So each kid has their own camera and their own screen.
Okay.
And it's not road trip gear. It's installed in my car.
Yeah,
it's
that's
always
just
in
stuff
the
that you
car.
have, right.
It's just there and it's always on.
Gotcha.
And I can send you the link for those. I've done the wired ones and I've done the wireless ones. I don't like the wired ones because they can get to the wires from the camera. So the wireless one, it straps to the headrest, it goes behind the headrest, and then I can run the wires wherever I want.
There are a couple guys on the Discord though that it was like a couple months ago. They were talking about this on Discord.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sending them the link that was like, here's the one we bought.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And
the downside is you need 2 cigarette lighter adapters. So if you don't have a cigarette lighter adapter in the back for the cameras, you can't use them.
You need 2. What? One for the camera, one for the
camera, one for the screen. Yep. But it's wireless baby camera, works so much better. I tried 3 of those mirrors and I spent so much time looking in the rearview mirror to look in the mirror to check. Like I just missed 3 blocks of the street. Like with the camera, I can look down, I can see their face, I can move on. Right.
Gotcha.
That's my 2 cents on that one.
The only other thing that's not like a road trip thing that I think everyone should have in their vehicle at all times is a good first aid kit. This is something. So there's 2 things. So the first one we use, we have those little rescue me tools, window breakers, seatbelt cutters, all that. If you don't necessarily carry a knife or have something to cut a seatbelt in case of an accident, make sure you have one of those. They're cheap. Keep one in your car. I gave one as gifts to like my entire family. The second thing is like on the headrest of my seat, there is a trauma bag essentially, and it's got all of our first aid stuff in it. It's got trauma shears. It has basic stuff: Band-Aids, aspirin, glow sticks, latex gloves, airway stuff, tourniquets, all that stuff, just in case.
The best way I've ever heard those described is do not buy a first aid kit. Buy a trauma kit. You want a tourniquet, you want quick clot, you want the airway pieces, right? There's things that come in a first aid or a trauma kit that don't come in a first aid kit. And I do the same thing. I've got one in our car. You grab it, it rips away, and you are able to support. We've actually used it. We've never used it in a car accident. I've always used it as like somebody cut their hand. Right. We had to go get a packet of quick clot, and it's really easy to just buy quick clot in packets and restock your trauma kit.
Super simple.
Those are really really valuable pieces of advice. That's cool. That's cool. All right.
Fire extinguisher. Get a vehicle fire extinguisher.
Oh yeah.
It sounds stupid. Everybody really? Yeah, because if your engine catches on fire, it's literally exploding in front of you as you drive down the road every second you step on the gas. If something happens, that will put it out faster than waiting on the fire truck to show up.
And then we're just going full dad mode, because now we're just talking about like all these random ass things.
All the emergency things.
Another thing is that I have
you got kitty litter in your back. Right. If you hit those winter roads, remember my grandpa yelling at me for cat litter.
Shovel.
I'm gonna throw just one more random thing. We have this. It's like this battery powered thing that you have to like charge it, and it's like a jumper. But you don't need you don't need another car to help you jump.
Got one of those.
So you plug it in, and you clamp, and then just another. I feel like we're overdoing it now, but like that's something
I got
that I have.
Battery powered tire pump. Okay, I'm insane.
An air compressor.
We're just we're now just playing a round of like who's more paranoid.
Exactly. So take all that with a grain of salt, guys. But make your decisions. Do what you got to do. All right, let's round this out. Food. How did you guys approach food? What did you give your kids? What did you have for yourself? And then we'll close it out. Andrew, go.
So since we're doing every 2 hours stopping, I have now learned not to purchase snacks for myself. If I need something, when I stop at the gas station, I will get myself an actual, right, fresh celery, fresh carrots, fresh hard-boiled egg. Most decent truck stops now have reasonable food that you can get. You don't have to load up on pork rinds and beef jerky. I'm not gonna lie, I have still traveled with pork rinds and beef jerky, but for the kids,
jerky I think is great. It's great protein. So I think it's jerky's I think very reasonable.
Jerky is very.
I try to keep it healthy though. Grapes and oranges are kind of like my thing. I'm sitting all day and I just feel gross when I'm eating anything.
I struggle with keeping things cold in the car. That's the ice pack, the cooler, right? By the time you get 2 kids and a full load of, like, where am I going to keep this fridge? So
yeah, that's true.
We do shelf stable formula pre-mixed. So Gerber will sell you a 2 4-ounce bottle. So will Enfamil, so will Similac of shelf stable formula. It's good for up to a year, right? And that's what when we're on a road trip, we are not mixing formula. We're using those little glass or plastic bottles of formula that are pre-made. Our daughters have been healthy, loved them. We're now to Cheerios and Goldfish and right, the snack cups.
Dude, I literally forgot about the whole feeding, like that kind of like baby feeding element of it, of like breast milk and formula. I was like, dude, this is weird. Like to think that like
you're not that far out of it, but you are.
I'm like out of that stage as a dad. Like we're done having our kids. Like we had 3 kids, we're done. And I'm like, dude, like new dads need to come into Dad Verb to keep it fresh because I am like exiting the baby stuff, and it's really weird. That just hit me.
Yeah. So you know how everybody has those water bottle drink mixes that you like pour in, and you can make it cherry flavored or whatever.
Yeah.
They make those with baby formula in them. I keep 4 of them in every glove box of our cars because I have never had someone turn me down for, can I just have some water for this baby formula anywhere I've gone, right? And so they're quick, they're good emergency thing to just have in the car, but when we are planning a road trip, I buy pre-mixed liquid baby formula, and that's what we feed to the infant. It's what we fed to our 18-month-old until now she can eat, right? So now she gets juices. But we bought Gerber. Gerber makes little 2-ounce juices that are like apple juice, pear juice, grape juice, and that's what she was drinking, that and water. Like we'd half and half them. They're shelf stable. They're not going to go bad in 12 hours on a road trip. Like if your wife's going to get paranoid, it says refrigerate after opening. It'll be fine for 12 hours. I promise you it will not poison your child, right? Like maybe if they have a sensitive stomach, but I've done it I've done it for 18 months where this stuff, and
everybody's alive.
Yeah. Everybody's alive. Everybody's healthy. Doctor said I had 2 perfect kids at the visit just a week ago. So
there you go.
Pediatrician.
There's your affirmation right there.
Remind me about him when we're done here.
All right.
I have a thing for you.
All right. Ben, what about you, man? How was that your food for Atlanta?
So we generally try to pack like relatively healthy snacks, but there's always something we let our son, pick out. Like he gets to choose some kind of snack. Usually it's like he wants Cheetos or he wants chips or he wants something that like we don't normally keep in the house.
Yeah.
That's like his road trip treat, right? But typically we're going to have like fruit around. We're going to have like, waters. We're going to have, he really likes like bubbly water. So like carbonated waters he really enjoys, and that's something that's not going to be too terrible for him.
That's cool.
Again, he eats full meals. So when we stop to get food, he eats there. And then snacks are usually the usual stuff: Pirate's Booty, Goldfish, Cheez-Its if you want some. We'll get
Usual
like some
suspects.
kind of fruit snack that he hasn't had before, just to give him something new and to entertain him. And then for the little one, she's 6 months next week. She is breastfed, but we do a lot of formula as well. One of the things that we have loved that we didn't have with our first kid is we use I think it's called the Baby's Brew. So it's a portable bottle warmer. And it's only about, I don't know, probably about the size of this microphone. And it comes with different adapters for different bottles, and you can recharge it. It's got a stainless steel warming plate on it. So you just put the adapter on, screw the bottle in, it'll heat 6 ounces of water to 100+ degrees in roughly 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So she starts waking up. We heat up the bottle. We, keep little glass jars of her formula with like a scooper in a bag, so we can just scoop it out in the right measurements, shake it up. She can eat on the go. And so I keep that in my diaper bag. So whenever I'm out with her alone, I can feed her. And that's something that always goes with us on road trips. So like no matter where we are, either my wife can stop and feed her, or I can make her a bottle, and we're good to go.
Guys, I was doing a good job without coughing for a long time. I'm sorry, it was like toward the end there.
Right.
Andrew, let's give your doctor story, and we'll land this.
No. Our pediatrician volunteered to come and chat with you if you want to reach out and talk to him. So we have a male pediatrician.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, look, we've got this dad's group.
Oh,
he might be interested. So he works for the university, so there are like rules on what he can and can't say.
yeah, University of Utah. That's legit.
But he was totally interested in giving you the male pediatrician perspective.
Dude, I love that. Dude, that'd be a fun episode.
Yeah,
have him on.
So
and
he's a great guy. I threw it at him last time we were at the appointment. He said yes. So I'll touch base with you and get you in touch with him after this. But yeah,
Sorry.
How have you guys kept? So one of our big snacks is string cheese, right? And Baby Bells. Our daughter loves Baby Bells.
Yeah.
I'll unwrap those things. She'll 5-bite them and we're done, right? I can't keep them cold in the car. I have tried everything short of basically drowning them in ice water.
Really?
Because they always float. I'm trying to use ice packs, right? And
Yeah.
And if they're not on the ice pack, they're coming out lukewarm.
So what? So I mean, what are you using? What kind of container?
Like a
or
lunchbox.
Just a lunchbox type thing.
Well, again, I'm not taking full coolers.
Yeah,
in the back of the
You're
car,
not saying like
right?
a Yeti or something like that. Yeah,
right.
I got you.
So it's like a lunchbox you would take. It's a fabric lunchbox, and
that's a good question. That's not something that I've actually even tried to strategize, because every time we bring anything, we're just like, we don't want to have to deal with the hassle of anything that needs to be kept cool. So we'll just stick with Cheez-Its and Goldfish and like these gummy snacks. Like that's just kind of how, because we just like don't want to have to deal with the hassle of it.
Yeah,
they can go a day without their freaking cheese stick. You know what I'm saying?
That's where we got to. We just gave up.
That's what we ended up doing. I don't know, Ben, you?
I got a big ass truck. I keep a cooler in the back.
He's like, I got a cooler. I keep a 12-pack light at the bottom. It's amazing.
No, it's so we keep like one of the like Arctic soft side coolers. Like,
dude, I just got an Arctic too, man. The thing is legit. I freaking love my Arctic
coolers. I got one of those, and then we use the Sub-Zero ice packs.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
And I've frozen stuff in there on accident before. So
dude, it's funny.
It stays super cold.
Arctic cooler story. So I just got a new Arctic. They were kind enough to send me one,
Nice.
and it's great. It's like a 45 quart whatever size, and
Is it one of the hard coolers.
Yeah. So
I have one from this weekend. We had that party Sunday. It's been 90s here.
Yeah.
It's still outside and it still has ice in it.
Dude, literally the same things. I was just gonna say the same thing. So we had just a bunch of ice in it from like a little church party thing that we had a couple of days ago. It's been sitting outside, and here in Texas it's been what I think it was like yesterday. It's like 107, 105. It's been outside for 2 straight days. I just opened it. Ice is still in there. Like it's amazing.
They're wild.
Like it's
They're
really
wild.
like
Are these the RTIC coolers?
RTIC cooler.
Yeah.
It's basically like a budget version of Yeti.
Budget Yeti. Yeah,
it's a budget Yeti. I mean, it's still like pricey for a cooler, but like it's not. I'd say it's like $100 less than a Yeti.
Yeah.
Look,
But
I'm
it
probably gonna
accomplishes the same exact thing.
I'll
They're
get
great.
attacked by the Yeti mob for this, but I don't understand why they're worth so much.
they're not.
I don't.
They were when they had the proprietary, like when they were the only ones that could do it.
Right.
They were worth that amount of money. Maybe their customer service is better. Maybe their warranty is better. I don't know. I had an issue with my first Arctic cooler. The inner liner cracked. I wrote them a letter. They were like, "Hey, just put it in a box, send it back to us, and we'll send you a new one."
Yeah.
They just sent me a brand new one. It was perfectly fine. No big deal.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I think.
And so like we have one of the 52 quart ultralight like hard side coolers, and that's like our party cooler. That goes camping with us. It goes to parties. It goes wherever.
Does it keep
and
cheese
like I said,
sticks cool?
It'll keep cheese sticks cool.
Cheese sticks.
Yeah.
All right.
And the soft side cooler, just FYI, if you're a NASCAR fan, the soft side coolers fit a whole bunch of beers, and they still fit under the seats at NASCAR races, which you are allowed to bring in.
Look at that.
There you go. You are allowed to bring it.
Fact.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. I'm going to get one of these on the way.
dude, get an Arctic, man. Those
This
things
one
are
comes
awesome.
with a bottle opener. How could you go wrong?
Well, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm going to
I
finish
just
this
killed
episode.
Andrew. He's done.
No outro.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the podcast. Bookmark this. Hopefully it helps you on your next road trip. I will hopefully be better for the next episode. And Ben, I don't know where you're at with your health, but hopefully you're good. And Andrew, I hope you stay healthy too, man.
I'm working on it.
You know, guess what? Well, I mean, we're in trouble because school's back in session, and we've got about a week before Henry starts bringing the stuff home. So I'm pretty sure COVID is in our future, man. I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Knock on wood. But anyway, thank you all for listening, for watching on YouTube. If you have any questions, please let us know. We take these questions as in comments as actual episode ideas. We appreciate you listening again, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Peace.